Welcome back to Sleeper Sports Media. This is episode 3 of What Do We Know? This is going to preview so far for what we know on SmackDown June 27th and then Night of Champions on June 28th, both over in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And these are the matches that we have had for a week now that were announced last week, and for sure probably more to come. Stay tuned for updates on that one as we get into this, but this is What Do We Know here at Sleeper Sports Media, brought to you by the Walmart Creator Program. Of course, check out the storefront link in the description and across all the platforms and websites that you can find me on: NoDirtSheets.com, Patreon/Sleeper Sports Media, Facebook, and all the other things. So here we go. Let's get into it. To start things off, we have the preview, for a quick preview, and sure, more to come, but a preview nonetheless of Friday Night SmackDown, June 27th, 2025, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, in one of the giant Kingdom stadiums, arenas, Super Dome arena over there in Saudi Arabia. No word on if the shows would be moved, changed, or change locations or times or anything like that. 1 p.m. start time for SmackDown and Night of Champions. Here we go. Of course, SmackDown on USA Network over here in the States. Normal time, as is across the world on Netflix. Here we go. As you see here, the advertised talent for the episode of SmackDown: Randy Orton, John Cena, LA Knight, Jacob Fatu, Cody Rhodes, and Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton, we know, is in a match. Everyone else, I would assume, will have a face-to-face or something, or a segment. Cody and Randy. Cena might be thrown in there, continue his little thing with Ron Killings, or R-Truth. And then Jacob Fatu, of course, has his title match up against Solo at Night of Champions. The first match we have to talk about is, of course, the WWE Tag Team Championship. The Street Profits versus the Wyatts. The Wyatts have returned and have been just taking out everyone in the tag team division. The Profits seemingly have not been worried, haven't really done much with their titles since that TLC match on the SmackDown after WrestleMania. But will we have new champions and the titles change hands over in Saudi Arabia, and the Wyatts kickoff hopefully would be a decent run, although with the way that I don't know how these types of characters and this type of group will be holding gold and then get into other challenges and what they can really do for the tag team division that the Profits aren't already doing. And then, of course, we have the WWE Women's Championship, last woman standing match for this rivalry that has been going on for what feels like 4 years. Tiffany Stratton taking on Nia Jax, hopefully for the last and the final time. Hopefully Tiffany puts her away. We get a tease of Naomi cashing in. Will she, won't she? She gets taken out or pulled away and interfere with before she cashes in, and start that teasing of the cash in. And then Tiffany puts Nia away and puts the final nail in the coffin of this rivalry and this feud, which has been absolutely horrible and pushed out way too long, over and over again, month after month, week after week, weeks in between, months in between. Horrible feud. Needs something new, something fresh to really spice up Tiffany Stratton's title run that has been very lackluster, which is very, very sad, because I was running on Tiffy time for a while, but it has run out. It has definitely run out, and this feud needs to be over, needs to be done with. They need to stop doing Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax and get over it and move on. Jade Cargill, of course, facing Asuka in the Queen of the Ring finals for a chance to face Tiffany Stratton or Io Sky at SummerSlam. More on that as we get into Night of Champions. And then, of course, we have the Women's United States Championship. Zelina Vega versus Julia. My guess would be Julia does take the win. They gave Zelina Vega a short little title run, 40-something days, if not 50 days at this point. But Julia, she has been on fire. She has the presentation. She has the aura. She has the actual threat in her matches, and isn't billed as the underdog in every single match that she goes into, even like Zelina Vega does. Even as champion, they bill her as the underdog. They bill her as being shorter than everyone, but yet somehow still finding ways to win. A lot of people think that they just gave her the title to entice Malachi Black or Aleister Black to resign and come back to the WWE, and it certainly is looking that way at this point. But Julia versus Vega for the Women's United States Championship, Friday night on SmackDown. And that brings us to June 28th at 1 p.m. start time, Saturday, Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh. And we start things off with the WWE Championship. More than likely will be the main event. I can't see them not having this be the main event. But, however, I could see them throwing this one as the co-main event and billing it as a double main event, co-feature, blah, 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 how they do, just to make Cody feel special. Cody versus Randy Orton, King of the Ring finals. I could see them throwing that into the main event spot just because it's Cody, and that is their golden boy for whatever reason. Why he is the golden boy, we don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, but nonetheless, here we go with the Night of Champions. John Cena, CM Punk. This will be the 15th time these two have faced off in their career, and they one-on-one a record of 6-6 with no contest and one draw. So this will be the final, more than likely be the final time we see these two lock up inside a ring, and it will be the deciding factor to really determine who is the best in the world or the greatest of all time. CM Punk, John Cena, Night of Champions for the WWE Championship. We're just getting started. And from the world title to the mid-card title, back-to-back mid-card titles here, IC and the US. But first we have Dominic Mysterio taking on AJ Styles. And the order of these matches that we go through are definitely not the order that I think they're going to be presented on the actual card. But Dominic Mysterio taking on AJ Styles in what has been a very blah feud. How AJ Styles loses at WrestleMania and then gets thrown into the Intercontinental title picture. I'm not sure. Kind of confused on that, given that I guess Logan Paul is taking time away and isn't necessarily going to be on every single episode. But AJ Styles losing at WrestleMania and then being thrown into a mid-card title picture is just ridiculous. He's washed. He's old. It's time for him to go, and I cannot wait for him to be on his retirement tour. Hopefully he just chooses to retire, because I just don't get the hype of AJ Styles. Dominic Mysterio should definitely keep the title and retain here at Night of Champions. Maybe continue this little feud of building towards the Judgment Day split. If Finn comes out to help and then ends up costing him the title, that would be fine. But then, of course, that means more AJ Styles on TV. Hopefully, they would continue to actually show the IC title. I don't see them taking off Dom this soon, and they should continue to build, maybe have it end in a disqualification, so you could run it back with AJ and Dom in their match for the title, but have Finn cost or interfere or be there in some way that makes you think, okay, they're really, really leaning in towards the split. Not that they haven't been doing that for the last, what feels like 4-6 months already, of teasing this split, of teasing Roxanne replacing Liv as Liv replaced Rhea, and then forcing Dom out of the Judgment Day. Got to think that Finn and JD would stay together as a tag team since they're boys, and force Dom out. Liv, Raquel, and Dom would go. JD, Finn, and Roxanne would stay. You could then do a 3-on-3. You could build the War Games teams around them, although we do know more than likely what we're going to see at War Games team-wise, built around Rollins and his group against Cody and his group, Roman probably fitting in there as well. But Dominic Mysterio, AJ Styles, Night of Champions, Intercontinental Championship. And now we go to the United States Championship. Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa. This rivalry, this feud has been building for some time. Jacob pulled the trigger and turned on Solo at Money in the Bank with the classic "I hate you, Solo," which to me it wasn't as big of a moment as what I thought it was going to be, or thought it should have been. Very lackluster in the very quick is how it all went down after Jacob heard Solo saying that Solo basically calling him stupid, and then the next night at Money in the Bank did the turn, and then laid out the challenge 2 weeks ago or last week or whatever it was. Given that I've gearing up for the move, have not been following as much as what I want to be. I've missed both the last episode of SmackDown, 2 episodes of SmackDown, I believe, and the last night's episode of Raw. But Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa, nonetheless, Bloodline versus Bloodline. Don't see Jacob losing anytime soon, especially to Solo Sikoa, given that he has not done anything other than just shit talk to get this title match. Definitely don't know where they're going to go. If they do give Solo the title, don't know where they're going to go with that. Don't know where they're going to continue to go with Jacob having the title. Hopefully something good of it comes. I mean, Damian Priest and Jacob down the line, maybe, probably. But we have Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa for the United States Championship at Night of Champions. And, of course, King of the Ring finals, Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton in a matchup that they have been sort of building, sort of not been building in this whole mentor-mentee, brother versus brother, kind of how they built the semifinals completely around Sami Zayn, Randy Orton, Jey Uso, and Cody. The four of them were on the War Games team last year, 2 years ago, whatever that was, and now they have faced off in the semifinals and have stated very clearly that they were going to do whatever it took to get through whoever they ended up facing in these semifinals to get to the finals. And same thing with once they reach the finals, they'll do whatever it takes to get through the other one to get to that title picture and that title spot at SummerSlam. So we have Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. I don't see how they have Cody not win this one and put him back into a title picture, which is kind of messed up considering Roman Reigns still has yet to get a rematch for the title, and yet Cody Rhodes is getting one just about 4 to 6 months later, however long it's been since, or it will be since April. I mean, to August, May, June, July, August. 4 months later, Cody gets a rematch for the title that he never should have won in the first place, that he dragged down to his level, and which is mid-card. He's mid. He can't carry the world title. It's too heavy for him. That has been proven time and time again throughout the year that he held the title, and he's getting a rematch before Roman Reigns gets one is just ridiculous. We go from King of the Ring to Queen of the Ring, Asuka versus Jade Cargill. It's very interesting to me that they had SmackDown versus SmackDown on the men's side, and then we have SmackDown versus Raw, which really throws that out there of you don't know who is going to win and who's going to have a title shot at SummerSlam for the world title, given the mix-up that we have with Naomi and Money in the Bank. Seth Rollins, you can kind of tell he is leaning towards waiting on cashing in for the Raw title, not necessarily the WWE title. As Cena also stated and pointed out, point blank period, Cena, his plan is to take that WWE title with him into retirement and have Rollins be the only champion left. So they're doing this really well of keeping the Raw and SmackDown separate, the brand split going. Whenever they want to, they pick and choose when they want to do it. But nonetheless, Asuka versus Jade Cargill in the Queen of the Ring finals for a spot for the chance to challenge for a world title at SummerSlam. Jade Cargill would be her first world title challenge. Asuka would get her back into the title picture after what feels like an eternity away. She's come back. She's won 2 matches in a row. Winning 2 matches, does that necessarily mean you should have a title shot next and be Asuka and Io, which would be a dream match? They built it around Damage Control, their history there. Asuka stated that they're not in Damage Control anymore. Damage Control is seemingly done with. Io and Kairi, kind of here and there, blah, blah, blah. Had to think that maybe they were leaning towards Liv and Raquel versus Io and Kairi for the tag titles somewhere down the line and having them win, maybe then dropping the title. But now with Liv's injury, we don't know. The tag titles are up in the air. Liv and Kairi and Io is up in the air. So probably full steam ahead towards Io and Asuka. Although Jade and Tiffany one more time and then Naomi cashing in at SummerSlam would be a great, great moment for everyone involved. And hopefully with Tiffany putting away Nia at Night of Champions or on SmackDown there and Friday night, and then going on to facing Jade. Jade and Tiffany can build up with the X factor of Naomi with that Money in the Bank briefcase and threatening to cash in at every chance that she gets. And then ultimately Naomi cashing in on Jade to win the title at SummerSlam in her first title match would be sweet, sweet justice for her losing at WrestleMania and continuing their feud, which I don't know where you go from there. But I'm sure that we will find out very, very soon. Jade, Asuka, Queen of the Ring finals, championship match at SummerSlam on the line. Couple more matches to go here. Night of Champions, along with a night of stipulation. We have a street fight. Raquel Rodriguez versus Rhea Ripley. After the segment Last Night on Raw, Rhea storming into Pierce's office, pissed off at the world, wanting Raquel, made it official herself. It's Mommy versus Raquel. Gotta think that this one was pulled on a fly to kind of have these two go one-on-one to delay us knowing what they're gonna do with the women's tag titles. Roxanne did come out and help Raquel in this, so you got to think that they're going to lean towards maybe doing exactly what they did with Naomi, Jade, and Bianca, and having Roxanne fill in for Liv, and then whenever she comes back, they go one-on-one. If they are going to do that again, or just have them vacate the titles, given that they are 5-time tag team champions, Liv and Raquel, probably won't vacate, given that they didn't make Bianca and Jade vacate. They'll continue to do this. Not like they've been actually building any tag teams in the women's division anyway. So the last breath of hope that I had was with Io and Kyrie going after the tag titles to somewhat have a decent match, I guess. But with Liv's injury, that kind of messes and throws everything through the loop. You could have Alexa and Charlotte, which they're kind of building towards maybe a makeshift tag team. But pushback from Charlotte, doesn't need friends, doesn't need a tag team. Could see that coming soon, maybe down the line, and then have them two face off against Raquel and Roxanne. But nonetheless, Rhea, Raquel, street fight, Night of Champions, Saturday on the 28th. Here we go. And the final match that we know of as of right now, I don't believe they're going to add any more matches. This is a full card, and probably a card with the most matches we've seen from WWE in quite some time. We have Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross, finally getting Karrion Kross in a match on a PLE. Sami Zayn fell short in King of the Ring in the semifinals, but nonetheless did tell us that we were going to see these two have a match when he was done with that, and sure enough, we have Karrion Kross, Sami Zayn on the PLE at Night of Champions. Big moment coming up for both of them. Got to think that Sami Zayn has to find a way back into getting a title picture, as that has been his goal now for quite some time, is to be and get in the World Championship picture and finally win a World Championship. A lot of people probably going to be pushing for him or Karrion Kross to be next in line, given the next couple of PLEs with the stipulation that gives them an automatic title shot, like a Royal Rumble win for Sami Zayn, Chamber win for Kross next year, heading back into Vegas with WrestleMania being in Vegas. Gotta think Karrion Kross was very pissed off that he was not on the WrestleMania card this year in Vegas. Full steam ahead for Kross to be on the card next year as we go back to WrestleMania, go back to Vegas for WrestleMania. But Sami Zayn, Karrion Kross, Night of Champions on the PLE, just a singles match, and that is Night of Champions. That is what we know as of right now. For Sleeper Sports Media, I'm Nick Wietosh, and here we go.